Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Droppin Knowledge with Dilla. This is going to be kind of a freestyle podcast because I couldn't come up with a longer script or really a lot of studies to go over this week. But I wanted to cover the idea of omnichannel, like omnichannel retailing, and what that means to me. So, omnichannel, I think, has been a term that's been kind of thrown around quite a bit in the last few years. And honestly, it's something that's a little bit overused, but really what I think of omnichannel is kind of hitting people where they are or flexing your process to meet the needs of that shopper. But it's not just in the store, it's really kind of everything. So what do I mean by that? Well, it's kind of thinking about how are you marketing to your shopper? And when you're marketing to your shopper, really marketing 101, best practices, know your audience, know who you're advertising to, know what they want, they need, they desire, etc. And in the digital marketing world, which is what I've lived in for, I don't know, 15 plus years, it's pretty easy to do that, right? And that's by the audiences that you're able to capture. So are you able to see what people are doing online and identify who those people are? Now, you don't need to identify them by name, but you need to identify them by their profile, right? Their household. So in this world where there's the term called householding or IP, not IP resolution, IP householding. So it's basically, taking their device, identifying it, tracking that behavior. And then maybe if they go to a different device inside of the house, because it's from the same IP address, taking the behavior from that device and adding it to the household, and maybe perhaps tracking a single device to another location. So maybe somebody's looking at a vehicle online on their mobile device, right? And then they go to Starbucks, they check out that vehicle on, say, Auto Trader on that device on the Wi-Fi network for Starbucks. Because we've got that device ID, we can add that behavior to that profile. So what that means is we've got audiences of people we know that are interested in what you have to sell. And our specialty, my specialty, it's automotive. Obviously, you want to go after people who are searching and shopping for what you have to sell. So if you're a Ford dealer, Ford vehicles, F-150s, et cetera, or even your used inventory. So having a deep understanding of who those shoppers are, what they're interested in, and then being able to deliver ads to them across your multiple channels. So when we're talking in digital advertising, paid search, it's your moneymaker. It still is. Super low funnel shoppers searching for what you have to sell. Display remarketing, super easy to go after those folks, especially remarketing, because they visited your site. They're showing intent. They are researching what you have to sell. And if you've got a good ad platform, it can suggest other vehicles similar to what they're interested in to keep them engaged. And with display, understanding who those shoppers are and maybe lookalike shoppers across, your favorite blogs, et cetera, showing them vehicles that they might be interested in. And we got, social networks, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, et cetera, showing ads to those people who are researching. And what's great about social networks is you can do really good lookalike audiences as well. Then you've got your kind of one step up. You got your video advertising. Honestly, I think this is going to grow quite a bit in the coming years because, what happens when you turn a TV on in any room? Everybody takes a look at it, right? It's engaging. It gets eyeballs on it, gets people to pay attention to it. So delivering ads to, say, YouTube viewers and your set-top boxes. So we're talking Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, et cetera, on those channels that those people are watching that are ad supported. Now, if you've got good IP householding, the location of those people who are interested in what you have to sell. You can deliver ads for the vehicles that we know they're interested in on their favorite channels on those set-top boxes within a few hours. All right, so we covered advertising, right? We're getting after cultivating those audiences, understanding who they are, generating some demand, and getting them to your website. Now, when we're talking omnichannel with the website, we want to have an understanding of who those shoppers are. So if you're using IP householding, we want to understand who that shopper is and then personalize the experience for them. So that is updating the content on the website in real time for those shoppers. So a really easy way to do that is have your web provider, if they can, personalize the experience for the shopper on the first visit. So show them vehicles, that match their interest that you have in stock on that homepage. Show them specials for those vehicles that we know that they're interested in on that homepage. Update your navigation so when it loads up, it shows vehicles that they're interested in. And go beyond just the homepage. I think a lot of people overly focus on the homepage because it's your first impression. It's like this big splashy thing. It's your digital storefront. It's great. We do want to have good looking homepage, but the real purpose of your homepage is to create a good first impressions and then get people to where they want to go. So it's got to look good. It's got to be easy to navigate. It's got to get people to where they want to go. That's going to be your search results page. Search results page, it's your digital lot. It helps people get to their inventory that they're interested in as quickly as possible. So it's got to be easy to search, easy to navigate. It's going to have good photos you could scroll through on mobile, especially because people are engaging with photos more than anything else when they're looking at inventory. So they want to get to those photos quickly. Having them on the SRP that you can scroll through is way better than having to click through to a VDP, for example. Simplified calls to action. You don't want 5, you maybe want 2. We want to cut down on the number of calls to action because that drives up your conversion rate. And what am I getting to here? Freeform search, you do want to have it. It's not a do or die, but it's good to have for those people who do want to do a Google search for their vehicles. But honestly, most people, you're going to use those facets. That's how people do it. We've seen in our UX studies how people utilize that stuff. And then, some other features include payments on those vehicles. So if you've got a DR tool, hopefully it integrates with your website and hopefully it can calculate payments for those vehicles based on some criteria that person's entered. Now, that is a subtle pitch for AutoTrader, dealer.com, and My Wallet. So if you've got My Wallet, what that means is somebody could plug in their info on AutoTrader, any dealer.com site, even KBB, basically finance info. So their credit score, how long they want to finance or lease a vehicle, down payment, monthly payment that they're looking for, and then we can calculate those payments for those vehicles using Accelerate My Deal. Let's talk about VDP. Somebody finds that vehicle. VDP is where that person creates a emotional connection with that vehicle. So that's where they, are investigating those photos more in depth. They're checking out the features. They're checking out the comments. We want to make sure we've got good details on the packages, especially on your higher trim or higher, tier vehicles, your Audis, your BMWs, your Lexuses, your Mercedes, because they all, the premier package, the prestige package, the sport package. I'm going to call those out because sometimes people are looking for that exact kind of package. I certainly was when I was buying my car. Calls to action. We want to keep it simple, right? 3 or less. Don't fall into the trap of saying, hey, I want like 10 calls to action. I want somebody to be able to schedule a test drive. I want them to schedule, financing. I want them to ask a question. I want them to negotiate make an offer. I want them to get their e-price. Really, like 3 or less, like schedule test drive. Actually, is this available? And then get them into digital retailing. That's really it. Your digital retailing tool, you want that integrated into that VDP, so it's showing a payment right out of the way. All right, I'm going to tie back to AutoTrader, KBB, and dealer.com, Accelerate My Deal, have that integrated so people can get right back into that workflow. Now, here's the secret. You're not going to get a ton of leads for digital retailing, even if you have a lead gate, right? But you want people to engage with it, and you want to be able to pick that up in the store. So when we're jumping into that CRM, make it easy for your salespeople to understand, hey, is this a digital retailing lead? Or did somebody engage with digital retailing before they reached out to me? Because if you look at the metrics of leads that are coming from your website, it's a vast majority of them are phone leads, right? And, if you're really doing killer, you've got a couple percentage points of form leads, and a couple of those are going to be digital retailing leads. But if you've got a good CRM, you've got a good DR tool, those are integrated. You can see if somebody's engaged with the DR tool, and you can, follow up with some payment information based on what you know about that person, or get them into the digital retailing workflow. Because we know if somebody starts in a DR tool, more likely to buy the car, pay more for the car, and be happier to do that so they can buy their next car from you. Get them into that workflow, make it easy for your salespeople to pick up that deal if that person comes in the store. Most transactions still end up in the store. I mean, a vast majority of them at this point in time, but everybody completes their process differently. Some people like to do some of the steps online and come in. Some people want to do it all online. Some people want to come in and point at the vehicle and say, I'd like to buy that today. We got to have a way to meet the needs of every one of those shoppers. And a way that you can do that effectively, and this is going to be the new way of retailing moving forward, is going to be digitized retailing, not digital retailing. I'm going to say digitized retail. Digital retailing, right? It's the tool on your website. It's great, gets people engaged, gets them to fill out parts of the process, right? Digitized retailing is digital retailing start to finish. So you're able to pick up deals where that shopper left off or start a deal in store using a DR tool easily. And then also desk simply. So what that means is once you've got those numbers dialed into the DR tool, your sales managers can pick those up and start desking really easily. They don't have to re-enter the information. They can get all the info they need. They can praise their the trade-in super easily, plug those numbers back into the deal, and there's no paperwork involved. Now, not only does that speed up the transaction time, especially if we can get somebody to complete some of those steps before they come into the store, but it helps you in a couple of other ways. Number one, compliance. So you can actually scan documents these days. That's another subtle plug for AutoTrader, KBBDealer.com, and Accelerate. Ideally, you can scan documents securely, do the dealer track document vault. That means you're not leaving out PII at the dealership. And say you get audited one day, you've got somebody's license out there, the proof of income, whatever. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars in fines. Not great. So instead, let's digitize it. Let's scan those. Let's get them right into the document vault. Make sure everything's dialed in there. The other advantage, too, is the shoppers report feeling like they're in more control of the process when they have that digitized experience. But what we've also found is that dealers who are using these new tools feel like they're in more control as well. And the close rates on these digitized deals, I mean, they're insane. They're like 2x to 3x higher than your traditional deals that are coming in through phone, web forms, or walk-ins. So it does pay dividends to start improving your sales process. And the goal here is to make it great for that shopper so they want to come back and buy their next vehicle from you. Then we want to get all that info into your DMS, into your contracting tool. We don't want to have to re-enter information, right? And this goes back to, something that I used to geek out on, that's process improvement, right? Every time you have to redo a process, that's wasted time and wasted value, not only for you, but for your customers. So we want to think of ways that we can have a continuous improvement culture. So how can we shave 2 seconds off of these processes that we're doing every single day? And, compound those small improvements over time. So maybe you can shave 2 seconds off your process every day for a year. All of a sudden, you're taking a process that used to take you 5 hours to complete in the store, buying a car, all the way down to an hour or less. Think about how much more capacity your salespeople are going to have if they can complete a transaction at the store in an hour versus 5. A, they're going to be less frustrated. B, they're going to be able to do more and with less, time. And C, you're just going to be churning out those sales. And especially now, market's tightening up, especially for certain brands, for sure. We need to think of new ways that we can be competitive in this space. All right. So to summarize, dial in your advertising. Make sure you've got good audiences. You're targeting people who are interested in what you have to sell. Sounds easy. You'd be surprised. Check with your vendors to make sure that they have solid audience data and make sure that they are able to execute on it. The other thing, too, is make sure that they have an automated marketing platform or an automated bidding platform. So what that basically means is that it allows the people who are running your ad campaigns to be more efficient and effective with your campaigns because it actually is a very manual process. Number 2, make sure your website's dialed in. Homepage, search results page, vehicle details page. Homepage, focus on providing a great first impression, get them to where they need to go. Search results page, help them find that perfect vehicle as quickly as possible, get them the information they need so they can get to the VDP quickly. VDP, create that emotional connection with that shopper, get them to the next step, which is to convert. So it's phone call, form lead, or digital retailing lead. We're talking CRM. Make it easy for your salespeople to do a good job. So give them the info they need on those shoppers. So propensity to buy, what DR activities have they completed? What trade-in do they have, right? Get some predictions on that. Make it easy for them to communicate with those people. Provide some Gen AI information or suggestions so that they can be more effective with their communications. And then when we're talking about the actual process of buying a car and negotiating, digitize it. So it's easier, it's faster, people feel like they're in more control. You have a higher close rate and you're protecting yourself when it comes to compliance. All right. So that was kind of off the top of the head rant for this week. Hopefully you guys learned something. Be sure to like and subscribe. I am trying to grow this channel so that we can get the word out there. If you have any comments, hey, let me know. If I'm totally off base, I want to hear from you so I can improve this and provide really great information to the dealership world in general. I want to make sure you guys are doing the best job that you can do. I want to take whatever knowledge I have and share it with you. So thanks again. Hopefully you guys learned something, and stay tuned for more Droppin Knowledge from Noah.